Hi everyone, Debbie here, and I need to do a little project. So, Remembrance Day is coming up on November the 11th, and I'm going to use this white chalk paint, this red acrylic paint that I'm going to DIY into chalk paint, some black chalk paint as well as my eraser, my pencil, a brush, a couple of other paintbrushes as well. I'm going to make a sign and I'm going to use this plate and this little dish just for the circle shapes so that I can draw a poppy onto my board. Now, this board, yeah, it's the back of my Happy Halloween sign that I made and put out for Halloween. It was out there for most of October. Now, I want to double purpose this board. This is a nice big pine board. It's 12 inches wide and it's 2 feet long. It's an inch thick, and this is a nice substantial board. I want to be able to dual purpose this so that when Halloween is over and I bring everything in, I can just take this board and flip it over, and I will have my Remembrance Day sign already out there. And then I get two uses for the same board. So yeah, I'm trying to think of ways to get multi-purposes out of a lot of the things that I'm DIYing right now. So, yeah, I'm going to paint this board up. Now, I do not want this to be this color. I am going to give this a coat of white paint, draw a poppy on the right-hand side here. And yeah, so let's get started. So I'm going to use the plate to draw a circle because it's just the perfect size for this board. If I freehand this, I probably won't take up the area that I want. And by just lightly putting a nice big circle on here, I'll be able to use this as just a guideline on how big I want my poppy to be. So very, very lightly, I did a pencil circle on here. Now, I want this to be a poppy, and poppies aren't circles. They are more, it's kind of hard to explain, but I'm just going to try to draw the poppy that everybody buys and sticks on their lapel from the Legion. And that is basically just 4 petals. So I'm going to take this circle and I'm going to divide it into 4. And I am going to turn each quarter of this into a petal for the poppy. So the poppy is not round. It's kind of like a square, but with rounded corners, if that makes any sense. So I'm really just kind of putting the pencil shape on here so that I can erase it if I want to. I can't forget that nice circle in the middle because that part's the black center of the poppy. And I'm going to paint this all on here, but I'm going to take this permanent marker, this black marker, and I am going to draw the outline of my poppy on here before I give this a coat of white paint because it'll still show through the white paint and the permanent marker is not going to bleed when I paint it, basically. So, yeah, so it's just these kind of flat-edged petals. I don't know how to describe them. I'm just trying to do the shape of the poppy and that circle for the center. So this will kind of give me a guideline when I start painting the actual poppy, and this should show through the paint. Now, I put these lines on here. I don't know why I thought I needed to put them on here now, but these little curved lines are going to give the poppy a little bit of dimension, make the petals look like they're a little bit more curved, but I don't need them on here because once I get this painted red, you can't see the black lines through the red anyway. I just needed the outline of the poppy at this point. So I'm going to paint the whole thing white. I'm using the Decor chalk paint on this board, and I'm just going to give this a good shake and pour some right on the board. I'm not even going to put it into a dish. So I'm going to put it on here, and I'm just going to go right over top of the poppy. Now, you guys can't see it, but in person, you could actually see the lines of the poppy through the white paint. I just knew that a black marker you'd have to do a couple of coats, and I didn't plan on doing a couple of coats on this, so I knew I'd be able to see that through. So just a coat of white paint, and you can see it a little wee bit. I can see it really well. So it's there. It's there. So I am going to make some red chalk paint. I've got this little dish. I got a little tub of water, and I have some baby powder. Now, what you want to look for when you're using baby powder to do this is that it is talc. You want it to be talcum powder because that's what works. That's what works. At least that's what works for me. So I put the talc in there, and I am just going to add some of this red paint, which is really thick, by the way, because I haven't used this for quite some time. I think it's drying out a little bit. Um, anyway, I'm going to give this a quick mix, and then I'm going to add some water so that I can get this to the consistency that I want. And I want it to be like my other chalk paints. So to do that, I'm going to give this a mix, and I'm going to add a tiny drop of water. Then I'm going to stir it and see how thick it is. Once that talc dissolves into there, it gets a little runnier than you think it would be. But you just want it so that it's going to drip off the end of your stir stick, kind of the consistency of a chalky yogurt, maybe. But yes. Once this is the consistency that you want and you're happy with it, you're just going to start painting your poppy. So I'm going to do 3 coats on here before I'm done, but I'm putting it on fairly thin. I'd rather have thin layers and build them up to the color that I want than have thick spots on my color. So it ended up being 3 coats, like I said, and it's nice and red and rich, and yeah, it's like those poppies, guys, those ones that you get from the Legion. And now that I'm happy with this, I have to do that black center. So I am using a watered down version of the chalk paint. So I just poured a little wee bit in my cup and I watered it down. I'm using a paintbrush that has a thin brush head on it, and it's got really long bristles. And I like that because if you have a nice fluid paint, I've watered this down quite a bit, so it's nice and fluid. And I'm just going to load my brush, and it's really easy to drag these soft bristles and put the lines in that I want for this. So I'm going to outline all of these petals with this black paint. This paintbrush just makes this part so easy. These long bristles are absolutely the way to go. So I went right into the center of the flower there. That's okay. The center of the flower is going to be black anyway. So I'm just drawing on all 4 of the petals. If you can hear that wind, it's really windy outside and it's just howling out there. So yeah, if you can hear that, I apologize, but that's what it is. So I'm just going to outline my circle and then I am going to fill it in with the black. So I've got this all filled in and it's looking pretty good. I think all I have left now to do are the little curl, the little curvy lines that are in the petals to give them a bit more dimension. And while that poppy is drying, I am going to take my pencil and my ruler and I am going to put some 2-inch spaced lines on here so that I can write the words lest we forget. Of course, that is the saying that goes with the poppies from the Legion. I just want this to be standard Remembrance Day, very traditional Remembrance Day here. I'm not trying to go for anything fancy. So I need 2 lines and I'm making sure that they're both spaced 2 inches. And then I'm going to take my pencil and kind of starting with the letters in the middle, making sure that I have them spaced out the way I want. I am putting the words on here. It's so much easier to fix it if you've made a mistake doing it in pencil than it is after you've painted it. Now I do make a mistake when I paint the G here. And if you grab that damp cloth quick enough, you can wipe off the wet paint and get it going in the right spot. So I have my words on here. I'm quite happy with them. And I'm pretty much done this sign. A couple of you guys are going to cringe because you don't like this, but I am going to do the stitching around the outside of this board. I just think that that's what finishes it off, and it's my sign. So here it is done. I've got it outside on my table, and I like the way that it turned out. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know. If you're in Canada watching this, do you put anything out for Remembrance Day? Do you wear the poppy? Yeah, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead, do that now before you leave. And I will see everybody in the next video. And until then, take care, everybody. Bye-bye for now.